You guys come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I know it's early. Y'all weren't expecting me this early. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Let me know who's here, where you're tuning in from. Come on in. Who's here, you guys? Who's here? I'm getting ready to do this drive-by. I'm out here minding my business. God, like, no. So I'm going to be obedient. So let me say this. I'm trying, y'all. Wow, so good. God is really moving quickly. He's really moving quickly. And what you got to understand is that he's moving quickly for a reason. Hey, beautiful. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's hard to stop. So I'm going to put it on the other side of the bed. So I won't keep eating it while I'm trying to talk to y'all. Chewing and talking all in y'all's face. As I eat my 1044 Pro Bar, right? Love it. One product, many purposes. Yes, honey. Girl, you know how I am about my bar, Regina. You know. So you guys, listen. The month of January was incredible. And I told you guys, January was the precursor to February, right? So in January, I told you it was a setup. God setting you up. February is going to move even faster. It's going to be even more amazing. So in the month of February, in fact, last night I just got my big check. I'm now a top money earner in the company in less than 30 days. And God just began to show me how everything I've gone through, every company I've been a part of, every experience that I've had has been designed to prepare me for this place that I'm in right now. And the beauty is, I just am not your typical. I'm not your typical. So for me to make $3,500 in less than 30 days and to be a top money earner, like I'm the top 6 money earners in the entire company, in a company that just launched in October, ground floor, like 640 people in the company, and to see my impact in the company so that I'm not just there, but my presence is felt and my knowledge is utilized, but not used, if that makes sense, right? My knowledge is utilized and celebrated, but not used as in being used, right? I know about being used. I know about being used for my gifts. I know about being used for my talents. I know about being used for my status, my name, the title, all of that. I know about being used, right? By companies and by people. But this is a very different feeling. To be able to help create something, develop something, establish something that's going to affect other people's lives is huge for me. So it's very much in line with what God told me about this year, that this was the year of redemption. He's redeeming me. My name, my position, my time, my relationships, my finances, and my purpose. like everything about me, he's redeeming, right? Now, why am I telling you this? This is not just the year of redemption for me, it's the year of redemption for whosoever will. Whosoever will accept his redemption, like you can have it. God is trying to show you that the things that you've gone through were not for waste, they were not for naught, that he's going to use them to accelerate you, to exalt you, to elevate you, to lift you up. And those who used you, y'all know who I'm talking about, those who used you will have to look at you differently and recognize that they misused a gift. I don't know if you guys have seen the Netflix movie Malcolm and Marie yet, but it's such a quintessential story. It's such a common story, right? You know, they had gone through things together. Then it's a shining moment. It's the moment when he's able to be celebrated. His movie is produced, but the movie is based on her. It's based on her life. It's based on her trauma. It's based on her experiences. And he gets up there at the end and he thanks everybody except the one whose life it was based on, except the one who rode with him the whole time, except that one. And they begin to have conversations about it. You got to watch it. You just got to watch it. But what I found, hey, boo, what I found was it seemed familiar to me. Some of you are in places that seem familiar to you. They seem familiar to you because you've been in them before. You found yourself in places where you gave and you gave and you gave, and all you wanted was a thank you. You would have been good with a thank you, but you couldn't even get a thank you, right? But other people are celebrated and exalted and lifted up, and they're the world and all of this. And you saying, well, wait a minute now. Help it make sense. Because this is not making sense to me right now. Why is it that these people are being celebrated and exalted and elevated, but I'm the one doing the backbreaking labor? I'm the one doing the heavy lifting. I'm the one doing all these things. If that is you, if that's you, I came to tell you it is your redemption time. God said that he's redeeming you, and everything you did for those people, God is getting ready to make sure that you reap a harvest from the seeds you sowed. Don't think that you sowed and it ain't going to be nothing, ain't nothing going to happen. Let me tell you something. And I want y'all to hear me clearly. So let me lean in for a minute, okay? Everything the enemy thought he was going to use to take you out, God is getting ready to use to elevate you. Everything that the enemy used against you, everything that he tried to do to demean you, everything that he did to try to make it seem like you weren't who you were, everything, God is getting ready to use it. And he's going to use it in a way that is going to blow your mind and the minds of the people who are spectating. Because believe me, they're looking. They might not ever like a post. They might not ever say anything. They might not ever get in your inbox. But they're looking and lurking, looking and lurking. And what you're going to discover is that God is going to require of them some things. Now, whether they do it or not, it's going to be up to them, but God is requiring it of them. You watch what God does with the situation. You stay humble. You stay focused. You stay doing what you're doing. I said last night, this is the season of grind, flow. This is grind, flow season. I grind, I flow, and it's my season. Grind, flow season. This is grind, flow season. Now, what is grind, flow season? We know grind season, right? Grind season is when you just work. Now, I can't sing it because my son say I put too many works in there, right? I be messing Rihanna up, right? But it's also a season of flow, because in your grind, you're going to develop your flow, and things are just it's going to be like a snowball going downhill. But first you got to grind and begin to build that snowball. But once you build it up and it's going like it's going to start flowing. It's going to start flowing. It's going to start flowing. And then it's your season, because you're going to harvest from it. You're going to reap from it. It's going to allow you to amass the things that God has in store for you. And so it's grind, flow season. Grind to get in your flow. because it's your season. Grind to get in your flow because it's your season. And when you get in that flow, things are just going to move smoothly, effortless. You know why? I am where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides. It doesn't reside outside of me. It resides inside of me. I am where the money resides. That's why the money comes to me freely and often. Because I am where the money resides. And when you begin to understand that, it begins to shift you. So let's talk on this prophetic drive-by. Because some of you have been blocking yourselves. And it's time to get real with yourself, about yourself, for yourself, so you can get to your destiny. Okay. If you want a prophetic word, put a 1 in the comments, put a 1 in the comments, put a 1 in the comments, and I'll give you what God gives me for you on today, in this moment, at this time. Y'all, I love my robe. Awesome, Cherie. Cherie, this is your time to get out of fear. There's a level of fear that like hovers over you, you know, and it's as though every time you get ready to break out, something happens and it triggers the fear again. And you shrink back. This is your season to get out of your fear. God is calling you to step out of your fear. And when you do that, you're going to discover that everything explodes. Everything's going to explode in your life. But you got to get on the other side of your fear, which means you got to first acknowledge that you have it. Second of all, you got to discover where it came from. Like, where does this, it's rooted somewhere. It's rooted somewhere. You got to figure out where it's rooted. And then you've got to counter it with the word of God. And when you do that, God will be able to move you and excel you beyond your wildest dreams. Thank you, Curry. Yes. Thank you, Rick Walters, honey. Rick Walters brought me this robe. I said, thank you, Rick Walters. We may not be together, but thank you for my robe, boo. I appreciate you. Yes, Regina. I'm where the money resides. Listen, Regina, the press on you, because you've been feeling oppressed, the press on you is because God is elevating you. He's elevating you so you can't operate in the space that you've been operating in. You got to operate in high expectation. You got to operate in high expectation. You got to operate higher. He's elevating you. So you got to stop seeing yourself as less than, less than this one, less than that one. No. See, when God created us, he created us to reside in us. And if he resides in us, then we are one. Okay. So it's not somebody is higher than you. No. You can honor, respect, authority, but you need to understand that when it comes to the spiritual things that God has given you, that. So don't minimize it. Don't minimize it. You can't do it. Cannot do it. Yes, Cherie. Yes. So if you're just joining us, I'm doing a prophetic drive-by. And if you want a prophetic word, put a 1 in the comments and I'll give you what the Lord gives me for you on today. You can do with it what you will, but I will be obedient and say whatever thus saith the Lord, because your blood would not be held on my hands, because I didn't do what God told me to do when he clearly told me to do a prophetic drive-by. And if he told me to do a prophetic drive-by, it was some people that he needed to get a prophetic word to. So that's the way he works. He's not going to have me do something just for the sake of doing it. No, there's somebody who needs something that I have. So something that resides inside of me. Yeah. Let me say this while we're talking. Sometimes you won't know. Sometimes you won't know why something had to happen, why some things had to manifest or take place until they do. Like much later, like God will reveal to you, something will happen and it'll trigger it and you'll understand. In fact, what I hear God saying is this week, you guys are going to have a lot of epiphanies. You're going to have a lot of epiphanies. Epiphanies are those things where you have those aha moments, right? You're going to be like, oh, okay, this is why I had to this, or this is why this didn't happen, or this is this, or this is that. A lot of those. You're going to have a lot of epiphanies. And as you have these epiphanies, he said, write them down. Write down your epiphanies. When you write down your epiphanies, you're going to be able to go back and look at them and you're going to be able to trace it. And it's going to teach you how to establish a life of epiphanies. My God. How to create a life of epiphanies where you're constantly having my God moments, right? Those aha moments. A life of epiphanies. Ooh, y'all write that down for me because listen, I feel like that's a book. That's a book right there. That's a book. Ooh, I received that, God. A life of epiphanies. How to live a life of epiphanies. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good because epiphanies are what change you. Did y'all know that? It's not just knowledge. It's when you get that knowledge and you have an epiphany, you have an aha moment. That's what creates change in your life. Change is not created just by knowing something or someone giving you some information. Information in and of itself is just knowledge, it's just information. But when you apply it, like that's when change occurs. When you have an epiphany, like I had an epiphany. Can I share with y'all my epiphany? So I had an epiphany yesterday. And the epiphany I had was a lot of my stuff as it relates to men and dealing with men and even people, period, when it comes to people questioning um, my integrity, right? My character is rooted from my relationship with my daddy. Wow, Corey. Wow. That's because I'm your other mama. I love you, boo. I'm hugging you in my robe. Um, a lot of stuff is rooted in that, in my relationship with my dad and his him being critical towards me. It established something in me where I wanted to be perfect. I felt like if I could just be perfect, then I could have his love. Now the interesting thing is my dad and I have a great relationship today, right? We have an amazing relationship. My daddy loved me. I love my daddy. My daddy calls me. It used to be that I always had to call my daddy. Now my daddy calls me more than I call him. I need to do better. Okay. But I had an epiphany, and that epiphany allowed me to really dig deep into some stuff, the root of some stuff. One of the things I always tell my coaching clients and those people that I'm connected to, I tell them, you got to go back to the place where it started. You got to find the place where it started. See, you can't heal it until you find the place where it started. Other than that, you digging up, you pulling up weeds that the roots are still in the ground and they're going to grow back up. So it's like putting a Band-Aid on a wound that needs stitches. Okay, or cauterization, which is where you burn it, right? Where you burn it and you seal it. So I just know this. I know that that epiphany had me in a place yesterday where I really had to look at some things and deal with some things and face some things. But the epiphany was necessary because this is the thing that I know about me. I know that my next marriage is my last marriage. That's it. But in order for that man to be able to get the best version of me, there's some things that I have to deal with, some things that I have to face, some things that I have to address. Hey, Desiree, how are you, beautiful? Until I do that, I'm going to find myself not being able to be all of who I need to be and who I need to show up as in a healthy, effective, successful relationship, let alone marriage, right? So we're constantly in a state of evolution. I am evolving. Hey, beautiful. How are you, Artesia? I'm in a constant state of evolving. That evolution allows me to continually grow and not feel like I have to be perfect all the time or perfect right now. I don't, but I do have to stay in process. And as I stay in process and I am, everybody won't do it like this, but this is how God has called me to do it. As I am sharing my process with you, it is designed to give you encouragement that while you're on your process, you're not alone. You're not the only one in process. You're not the only one that's having to dig things up by the roots. You're not the only one. See, we think that a lot of times we're the only one, so we won't say anything about it because we got issues. But the truth is, everybody has some type of issue. Your issues may not be my issues, but we have something. And so in the fact that we have something, like, it is what it is. Hey, Taquetta, how are you, gorgeous? Good to see you. Exactly. One whole man plus one whole woman equals one whole marriage. Absolutely. So the thing is, you got to find someone you can process life with, so that you can process life together. You can process what's going on with you, and he can process what's going on with him, and you can have conversations about it. And those are some of the most amazing conversations you'll ever have in your life. To be able to have a conversation with someone about the deep things, the inner things, the things that you've not really talked to anyone about, and for them to be able to honor your process and not judge you, to be able to see all of you, flaws and all, and still be able to accept you with open arms and love you, whether they say it verbally or not, and love you is amazing. And so when you find that, you hold on to that, you honor that, you respect that, you treat it with care. You treat it with care because you understand that it doesn't happen every day. And it's not based on the physical. It's not based on, although those things are definitely, they help, right? Right. They create attraction, but you'll be able to build something that's lasting and will last through all kinds of trials and tribulations and tests and all of those things. Because at the end of the day, God is doing something. He has found a way to bring the two of you together. And you may be surprised at what he uses to bring you together. But no, he's doing it. And you'll know he's doing it because it won't feel like anything else you've ever experienced. It'll be something that is new for you. You'll move differently in it, and when things happen in your life, that'll be the person that you want to call. They'll appreciate you calling them. They'll appreciate you sharing with them. And they'll say, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing? Just the thought of having someone who would say, thank you for sharing your heart with me. Thank you for sharing your brokenness with me. Thank you. You see, in Malcolm and Maria, I believe firmly that they had a great love, right? But they didn't know how to process it. They couldn't process together, and because of Malcolm's personality, like he just wasn't getting it. You guys, I need you to understand that you can't make other people get what it is that you need, but you can definitely articulate it. You can express it in a way that, you pour out your heart and you let them know. You allow yourself to be vulnerable. I got to take a bite of the bar on that. Y'all gonna have to give me a second. Give me just a second. I needed a bar break. I'm feeling some type of way. I know y'all may be like, well, what is the bar gonna do? It comforts me. Did you know that chewing releases things in your mouth that trigger things in your brain that make you feel good? That's why a lot of people are stuck in the oral phase. They always got to have something in their mouth. It calms them. And normally those people either were not breastfed or the bottle was taken from them too early. They missed something. And so they have an oral fixation. Smokers have an oral fixation, right? Which is why when they stop smoking, they eat. People who have eating disorders often, depending on which one, often have an oral fixation, right? So you have to just understand that, the I know, girl, Miss Bar. People think I be exaggerating. They think that I'm playing. Y'all are with me 5 days a week in the morning, Corey, you and Regina. Y'all are with me, and y'all know I'm for real. When I'm talking about this, I'm for real. It does help, I don't know what's in it, but there's something in it that helps with my mood. And I haven't figured out what it is yet, but it's something in there that does help with my mood. And like, I love it. Hey, Marguerite, how are you, beautiful? So, why am I telling you this? Because y'all, listen, can I be honest with y'all? Y'all are like my therapy, right? This is my place where I get to talk through things so that I can have epiphanies, right? And I do it in a way that maybe you get an epiphany too. Maybe something clicks for you. Maybe you see something that you didn't see before. Corey was talking about waking up missing her mother. And for me, it's been missing my grandparents. I've been thinking a lot about my grandfather, you know? And I've told the story before how I was in high school, I was a freshman, it was summertime, and I had a date with this boy that I really liked. And we got a call. I was in Nashville with my aunt. My family was in Kentucky. And we got a call that my grandfather was not doing good and he had to be rushed to the hospital. And I didn't want to go. I wanted to go after my date. But we ended up going, and he died. And this is what you got to know about my grandfather. My grandfather was an amazing man. And I tell you, he was an amazing man. Daddy and he loved me. He loved me. This man loved me so much. I remember peeing in the bed. Don't tell my brother this, okay? Because listen, he got a lot of whoopings because of me. He got a lot of whoopings because of me. But I can remember peeing in the bed. Oh my God. I remember peeing in the bed and going in there to my granddaddy, right? Because that was my daddy, right? Him and my grandmother were my parents. They raised me. And I went in there and I said, Daddy. He was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I said, I peed in the bed. And he said, what? I peed in the bed. And he said, stop crying, stop crying, stop crying. Come on, come on. Go get you some panties. Go get you some panties. And I went and got some panties and I brought them to me. And he helped me change my panties. And he took the other ones and he said, now don't say nothing. Don't tell nobody. Okay? Don't tell nobody. Climb on up here in the bed with me and your mom. Come climb on up here. So the next morning, the bed was wet in there with my mom and my brothers. And they talking about, I'm talking about who peed in the bed? Who peed in the bed? And my granddad, them boys always somewhere peeing in the bed. They need a whooping. Now I'm the one that's out of the bed. He's like, this baby had to come in here because they done peed in the bed on her. That's why her panties is wet. That man right there. That man. And this is pivotal for me. And I'm going to tell y'all why this is pivotal. I haven't allowed myself to really celebrate him like that because of things that I discovered when I got older. Like when you get older, you realize that the people that you love aren't perfect, that they mess up, that they don't always treat people right. All I know is that man loved me. And because of things that he went through in his relationship with my grandmother, I lost some respect for him. And so I haven't really allowed myself to honor our relationship. I always wanted to be with Daddy. Daddy was outside, I was outside. I wanted to do what Daddy was doing. If he was cleaning a squirrel or a rabbit or whatever, I would be out there watching it, you know. And we have to deal with that stuff, you guys. We have to acknowledge that that stuff exists so that we can elevate for real, so that we can get to the next place. Daddy always had the biggest smile. His smile would light up a room. He had beautiful light brown eyes. He was a yellow man. He was a big man, you know, and not big as in real tall, but big as in he was stout, you know. And I always felt safe with him. We would watch wrestling together, you know. I loved wrestling, y'all. I'm just gonna tell you, it broke my heart when I found out wrestling was not real, like that it was scripted. I was hurt, because me and Daddy would always sit and we would watch wrestling together. That was our thing. When he got off work, we had our thing that we did together. Like those were our moments. I remember him coming home from work and he would always take a shot, right? He would take a shot of whiskey. And so he would have the little shot glass or cup, we didn't really have shot glass, but we had shot glass or cup. And he would pour it in there. And he wasn't a big drinker, but he would have a shot every night when he got off from work. And I remember that he would, I got to the point where he would let me pour it for him. And I would pour him some and he'd let me have a sip, right? Then we got to the point where I would pour him some and then he said, go on and pour you some. And I pour me some and I feel like I was big. And I'd be like, taking a shot of whiskey, right? It's a wonder I didn't become like a drunk. But I did do a lot of drinking in college. Like Tanqueray and juice was my drink, okay? Because I did my share. But it was pivotal. Now, I'm sharing this with you all, and yesterday was the first time I really had a conversation about some of this stuff with anybody. I just normally don't talk about it. It's a lot that I just normally don't talk about. Even though I share a lot of my life. I share a lot of things with you guys. But it's some stuff that's even deeper. I use the analogy that, a lot of people think they know me. But they only know as much of me as I allow them to. And that was an epiphany for me. That I let people know a lot about me and I share a lot of myself with people. There's still a lot of really deep things that I haven't shared. And I think this is one of the reasons I haven't written that book, that book about my life, because there's some things that are real deep that I've not really talked about. But those are the things that you have to bring to the forefront. Those are the things that you have to begin to deal with. Those are the things that need to exist. Absolutely, Jaquetta. It's important to feel safe. You've got to feel safe. That feeling safe is a key thing. It is a crucial piece. It makes a difference. Hey, Adre, how are you? Yeah. And the reality is a lot of us do. But this is why you create relationships with people that you can do that with. And in that way, you're able to make major moves in your life. Today's prophetic drive-by is designed to let you know that it's okay. Right where you are right now today, it's okay. What you're feeling in this moment, it's okay. The tears that you want to shed, it's okay. You're going to make it through it. You're going to get to the other side. I'm not telling you what somebody told me. I'm telling you what I know. When I tell you yesterday I had to press through, I had to really press through. Regina said, thank you for sharing, sis, because you are helping so many who don't know how to share. Yeah. I had to press through. Let me tell you why I had to press through. Because I've been having some epiphanies that have really kind of knocked me off kilter. I normally am very good at staying in control. Control is important to me, in case y'all didn't know. I like being in control. That's no man. So I was getting ready to go way left. Let me come back. Hold on just a second. Let me come back. Let me come back. I just got to come back. That's why God won't let me go certain places and do certain stuff. He's like, this one right here, she might not never come back. Thank you, God. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me. Um, but when we learn um that from our interactions with people, that people use things against you, you start to censor yourself. You start to hold stuff. And yesterday, my epiphanies really kind of shook me up because I thought I dealt with this stuff. Thought I had. I thought I was good on it. But I always tell people, we deal with what we can deal with, and then God reveals that there's another layer to it. And then we deal with that layer. And then after we deal with that layer, it may be another layer to it. And we deal with that layer until we get all the way to the root. Because the truth of the matter is some stuff is so deeply rooted that if we were to simply try to go in and pull it out, it would leave a huge gaping wound that would not be able to heal safely, and it would be prone to infection. My God. Now that I just said something. Hold on a second, you guys, because I want you to get this. This is revelation to me. God just dropped this in my spirit. If some of oh my God, some of the stuff that you've dealt with is rooted so deeply inside of you that if you just went in and jerked it out, you performed a surgical procedure, you cut yourself open, dug it out and pulled it out, it would leave a huge gaping wound that is subject to infection. So rather than do that to you, God will deal with it in layers so that you can heal. Layers so that you can heal. And it doesn't leave this huge wound that's prone to infection. And that infection can be as simple as someone saying something that they don't think is a big deal, but it lands in the wound. It's a piece of dirt that lands in the wound, and you don't clean it out. And that single speck of dirt leads to an infection. My God. My God. So some of you are saying, oh, I dealt with that. I dealt with that. I dealt with that already. But it's some more layers to it. And God in his infinite wisdom chose not to expose all of the layers at one time because he knew that you would try to remove it surgically. And then you would be so stuck in that hole, in that huge gaping wound, that it would get infected. And you would have infection in your body. And the infection would spread. It would go from pus occurring right there in the wound, from it becoming a running wound, to the infection would get into your bloodstream. And once the infection is in your bloodstream, it affects everything in your life. So I'm thankful that God has not made me deal with all of it all at the same time. I'm grateful for that because I would not have been able to, because the wounds are so deep. But I'm also grateful that as I'm going through it, he's allowing me to share, to be able to help someone else, because I know I'm not the only one. And then he's given me someone to share it with, who won't judge me, who will help me process through, and I can feel safe without any other expectations placed on it. It don't have to be no sex and no pillow talk to have the conversations that are the deep, intimate conversations, the conversations that I really haven't had with a lot of people, like, but they were needed. Because guess what, you guys? Y'all know what I discovered? Let me tell y'all what I discovered. I discovered I would give a man access to my body before I would give him access to me. Because I controlled that. Whether or not he had access to my body, I controlled that. But he could not have access not access to the inner recesses, not access to the deep things of me, not access to those areas that are the most vulnerable. You couldn't have access to that. Nah, bro. And we can do this, but we're not doing that. And I had to explore why. But you know why? I watched the women in my life give men that kind of access, and I watched those men beat them, cheat on them, walk away from them, leave them hanging after years, 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 and child after child after child. And I said, they'll never be me. A man will never be so deeply rooted in my life that I can't extricate him and still be good. Thus, 5 marriages, 5 divorces. See, these are the conversations we don't have. I remember I did a video and I was talking about being married 5 times. These men were like, oh, that's the problem. It's her. She's the problem. Da 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 da. This is what so and so is talking about. Da 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 da. You know, this is why you don't marry women with PhDs. You know, they want to be the man and da 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 da. And it was never that I wanted to be the man, but I wanted a man. I wanted a man who could be a man like my grandfather was when I knew him as a child, not who I realized he was when I became old enough to know what was going on. I wanted a man that would make me feel safe all the time, that I could really open myself up to, but I didn't choose that. And that's on me. I own that fully. But I also know that every single one of my marriages, God had purpose for. God used it, not just for me, but for them. And so I know that God is doing something amazing. And it is incumbent upon us to be active participants in our own liberation. So, this is how I liberate the masses. I liberate me. And in liberating me and walking in my freedom and my liberty, I show others that you can walk in yours too. Today, don't stay in bondage any longer. Don't stay in bondage to your past. Don't stay in bondage to your hurts. Don't stay in bondage to your disappointments. Don't stay in bondage to your failures. Don't stay in bondage to the past. Let's get it. Because at the end of the day, God has a plan for you so much bigger than what you can see right now. Walk it out and watch how He brings the pieces together. And the puzzle has a whole different look. Because now it's looking like what's on the box and not just pieces in the box. You guys, know that I love you guys to life and life more abundant. If this has blessed you in any way, drop a comment. You can drop a cash app. You can drop a cash app. $ DRV Walters. But this is the most important thing. I want you to schedule your breakthrough strategy session so that we can have a conversation, right? And we can figure out maybe what's blocking you or some of the areas that you may need to adjust in. It's absolutely free. There's no charge for it. I do it as a way of giving back. I do it as a way of helping people to position themselves. If we go on to work together in a more intimate relationship, great. But if we don't, I don't feel like I wasted my time. And that's the thing for me. You know, people are like, well, I don't want to waste your time because I don't have a lot of money and da 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 da. Okay. But if God is sending you some help for free, get the free help. And then maybe when you get some resources, you'll be able to get the other help. You know? So if you want to do a free breakthrough strategy session, you just need to go to www.getbalance, with Dr. V. Get balance with written out WITHDRV.com. I dropped it in there. I'm also going to drop my Cash App. If you feel led to drop a seed, drop a seed. Do whatever God tells you. I believe in that. Okay? Let me pull it up over here. Y'all know I got two things going at the same time. But let me create this banner. Let me go to this banner and then I'll drop the Cash App $DRV Walters, $DRV Walters. You all, I love you. I love you, and I know that the best is yet to come, and God is just waiting on you. I'm launching. Today is the Billionaire Boss Book Writing Club, our coaching program. So that's happening today. Tomorrow, it's the Flow Coaching Program. If you're interested in either one of them, go ahead and schedule your free strategy session for today or inbox me, let me know, and I'll tell you how you can become a part of these things that I'm doing. I'm always about getting results. I want people to get results. I'm a result oriented person. So I want you to have results. Okay. So listen, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an absolutely amazing, incredible, and epic day. And know this, the best is yet to come. Be blessed.